And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition of ESL Open Cup Asia number 218. I'm, of course, host Live VIP, and with me, I'm joined by the lovely people in the chat, by Mio Micah for the big raid. Big shout out to Mio Micah, and by the amazing players here in the bracket. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys wish to have a look at the bracket yourselves. Again, we have a lot of amazing players here tonight, just like these very two, as this is going to be our first matchup of the evening here, of course, and it's going to be a lovely night full of StarCraft. Let's go. Let's sink our teeth in as spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of one of the new maps of Amphion, we have our American Protoss player. The blue Protoss, representing himself, it is Estrella. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the Vietnamese Zerg player, the last king of the sea. Hold on, I need to fix this. God damn it, Este Mia Micah. Ay. I just said his name, but let me just quickly fix him up. Bam, there we go. We have the Vietnamese Zerg player, the last king of the sea, the red Zerg, representing Team Gosu. It is Mio Micah. Okay, the king of washed. Shaking my head, but here we go. We're here on one of the new maps that has been announced here for the next season of StarCraft. It is on the horizon, not quite here yet, but on the way nonetheless. Let us experience the map ourselves here. It's going to be a pool first, by the way. Pool first by Mio Micah, as to be expected. He very often goes pool first in almost every single matchup, so again, it might seem a little bit aggressive to a standard player, but this is standard for Mio Micah. Meanwhile, back at home, we do have a gate expand set up here from Estrella, gate expand into Cybercore, but let us explore the map a little bit here. So first things first, no Zelnaga towers, no slow zones, no speed zones of the like. We do have our natural base. It looks like we have access to the left-hand side, actually. So it looks like these bases on the left-hand side, very similar to Alkyone, are zoned away and zoned off by these mineral patches. Oh, also, my apologies. There we go. They are zoned away by these mineral patches, so because of that, you don't actually gain access to this area without either mining through these minerals or knocking down these rocks. And the rush distance by ground is actually terrifying. It's very short here once these minerals are mined through. Meanwhile, here on the right-hand side, Lings, they do arrive. They do check on the wall. The linear third base is very wide open. Oh my god, you can attack from almost a full 60 surround on the right, towards the center right, and towards the center left as well. So this linear third base is looking a little bit exposed. There's even a little area here where you can potentially drop as well, so very interesting to have the back of the gas guys exposed in such a fashion. So yeah, an interesting third base here. Behind this, we're just droning, we're taking more bases, no additional gases, so no aggression out of Mio Micah, and Estrella is going for a Stargate. Estrella is going for a Stargate opener back at home, so standard play so far. Meanwhile, this center base here does have more rocks. Once again, we do have a line of rocks here that can be knocked down. This is a tiny map. Especially when you knock down either the rocks on the left or the rocks on the right. The rush distance by ground is disgustingly short. So this, I imagine, can lead to a lot of aggression. I can see a lot of queen walks. I'll be honest, as Adept is going to go for a drone kill. Does get one. One drone goes down. We're going to be threatening another worker here. But yeah, I can definitely see queen walks getting across the map quite quickly here, and these big two-base all-ins can be quite commonplace. I can definitely see that. But again, those seem to be the big features. There's a short rush distance by ground that can become even shorter. I imagine that because of how exposed this linear third is, we want to expand towards the left-hand side. I imagine both players want to. We can see Mio Micah expanding on the right-hand side instead. Again, as a Zerg player, you can spread creep and have more control. But what am I saying? Because, mate, the creep is not going to be spread whatsoever. We're stopping at 2 queens. That is very Mio Micah-esque. Mio Micah's not fond of making queens. Oracle dips in. Oh, we don't quite get damage done, though. Well, a lot of hull damage dealt to that Oracle. The Alaria is done, and we're going straight into 2-base Hydra. This is the Mio Micah build, going into 3 gases on 2 bases, rushing into the lair, rushing into the Hydrogen. Third base soon to be saturated as well, so Mio Micah is going Ling Hydra. This is a very, again, iconic style from Mio Micah. He does avoid banelings for the most part. Meanwhile, Estrella back at home is still just building himself up, harassing with Adepts and harassing with Oracles. Hasn't found too much success yet, but Estrella, he's on it. He is on the case right now. Again, Miyamika spreading creep with his overlords. Again, Miyamika, he cuts queen production. It's not something that he makes too often, which is why he has no active tumors. Adepts do shade into that mineral line. We do focus on a couple of drones. 2, 3, 4 drones go down. Very nice damage done here by Estrella. Comes in from behind, gets another 4 workers, and does escape. 9 drones go down in total. Very good damage here from Estrella. And with that, the economy of Miyamika was already stifled and now is crippled even further here, down to 35 drones. Ay, ay, ay. So Miyamika, he's got quite a bit of droning to do. He's got quite a bit of saturation left to go here, as we do get a revelation in the main base, getting eyes on the Hydras, getting eyes on everything that's coming out. We see Miyamika going for a big link counterattack, but again, the wall is solid, and Miyamika, because he hasn't mined through the mineral patches, and because he hasn't knocked down these rocks, he can't aggress. He cannot harass his third. This is something you have to bear in mind for this map, is that if the Protoss player, or in this kind of dynamic, if a player expands on the left-hand side, there's literally no way to harass outside of drop play, or again, mining through this yourself. So this is something that Miyamika is not ready for. You can see here, there we go, he's now pulling the boys to mine through this area, and this is like this is a bit of a learning curve. There's a bit of a learning curve when it comes to the map itself. Because of this, Estrella, he gets away with a fully saturated third base. Fully saturated, getting in position. We have stasis traps, pylon, shield batteries, soon to be cannons being thrown down as well. Estrella, he is pretty well fortified on 3 bases. Now the 4th is going to be an interesting one. Do we expand towards the opponents? This is a hybrid base. There are some gold patches there as well. On the right hand side, another hybrid base as well. I just did notice that here on the right hand side, there's also mineral patches that you can mine through to extend the rush distance. Interesting feature. I don't know how often we will see this. Meanwhile, Miyamika committing on the left hand side. We do have a stasis though. Oh no! Oh! Stasis, gets triggered by only 1 Ling and 1 Hydra. We're pushing on forward. Another stasis will connect though. Yeah, with the help of the stasis traps, Estrella, he can break through. As I say that though, the shield battery is exposed. And shield battery is going to be going down. Oracles, they try to add some DPS here, but it looks like Miyamika, he has just too much. He has too much firepower. He rocks up here on 49 drones, barely 3 base saturation, 2.5 base saturation. He rocks up with a big Ling Hydra all in. And Estrella, he gets caught with his pants down. The base was safe for a while, but not forever. And again, the Colossus are too late. The Rover production too late. GG gets called, and Miyamika will take game number 1. GG. Okay. GG, well played. Miyamika does take the first game here. Again, even though Estrella was happily getting up to 3 base saturation, he was not respecting the fact that, 1, he killed a lot of workers, but 2, Miyamika wasn't droning. Miyamika was not saturating his bases. He was going for an all-in, and Estrella was assuming that Miyamika was going for a longer macro game. And that is something that you cannot assume about Miyamika. Nah, Pappy, nah. Again, Miyamika, he typically is very low on drones, and hyper-aggressive is kind of like what he enjoys and where he thrives. And if his opponent plays standard, then Miyamika can take advantage of his opponent. So hopefully, as we get into game number 2, Estrella is able to turn the tables, maybe be aggressive on Miyamika, or just be a little bit safer, be more defensive, and make sure he secures himself before he does end up taking up. We'll see. We shall see as we're getting into game number 2. Let's go. It's going to be another one of these newer maps. It is going to be Ghost River. Okay, so I'll be honest. I saw the names of these maps earlier. Like so yesterday we had a podcast and we went over all the patch notes. We went over all the maps. Or I say that. We glossed over the maps. We didn't really look in depth into them. So this is my first time really paying attention and looking at these maps, so I'm very excited to see what Ghost River has to offer. Very excited. Getting into game number 2. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Ghost River, we have our American Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing himself, currently teamless, down in this series, looking to fight back and tie things up. It is Estrella. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Ghost River, we have his opponent. We have the red Zerg player representing Team Gosu from the land of Vietnam. It is Mio Micah. Okay, so once again, we have to take a moment here to explore the map. Looks like once again we are underwater, question mark? Oh, actually, I think we are. Potentially. No, we're not. Okay, we're not underwater. Okay. We'll keep an eye out for that. Our natural base here looking interesting. This setup reminds me of, oh my god, what was the map? What was the name of that map? Eternal Empire. I think Eternal Empire had a similar setup here outside the natural, where you have rocks leading in towards a more open area. Once again, insanely short rush distance if you mine through these minerals or if you knock down these rocks. This is insane. What? We're touching tips. This is like shorter than, oh god, what was the, no, not Golden Aura. It was a map in Heart of the Storm in the first season of Legacy of the Void. The map with Bomber versus Scarlet, where it was short rush distance by air outside of like this one third base location. But yeah, if you knock down these minerals, knock down these rocks, we're like a screen and a half away, if that. Jesus. So very short rush, potentially very short rush distance by ground. Otherwise, you can go through the center instead, and honestly, it's not even that much longer. I can see a lot of all-ins happen. I can see a lot of Roach. I was going to say I can see a lot of Roach all-ins here. The difference between this map and the previous one is that we do have a ramp, a very narrow choke point here with rocks, so you can actually defend this location with very minimal units. So it's going to be difficult to actually go for any kind of queen all-in on a map like this. So interesting choice here, or interesting feature. Once again, it was a pull first. Pull first out of Mio Micah. Just going for 2 links early on. We do have a gate expand from Australia. Standard open out of Australia. Standard open from Mio Micah, despite the fact that it's a pull first. Not overly aggressive. Exploring the rest of this map, we do have a triangular third base. I guess there's only 1/3 you can take. Yeah, there's only 1/3 base location here, so not much variety. Again, it's a pretty congested map anyway, as the Overlord is going to be zoned away. It's going to be a Twilight Council opener. I'm feeling Glaive Adepts, but we'll see. Australia opening up much more aggressively. Now, when it comes here towards the south, we do have just southern 4th base, 5th base locations. No gold bases, no hybrid bases, no rich gas geysers or Zelnaga towers. Interesting, but once again, this map feels very congested. Oh my, far more so than the last map. I feel uncomfortable. This is like an insta veto for me. This, I'll be real. As Ling is going to be forced back. Did not know you had a podcast. Yeah, we hosted the podcast yesterday. Yesterday we were live. We were actually live at the same time as Forjumi had a tournament. He had like a community community cup. So Forjumi had a tournament last night, and he asked us to cast, but we couldn't cast the tournament because we were, hosting our podcast. So smooch. So did have a podcast going over all the patch notes. As behind this, we're going into earlier roaches. Okay, so we have Mio Micah getting into a third base, but cutting workers a little bit early on. A very fast Roach Warren here. Giga fast Roach Warren from Mio Micah. I mentioned earlier, though, that I'm not too fond of all-in play here on this map, just because if the Protoss player can take control of this ramp, like, it's so difficult to push up into it. I'm going to have to go the long way around instead. Meanwhile, Australia, I assumed it was Glaives. No, it's going to be Blink Stalkers here from Australia. 6-gate Blink all-in. Sorry, a 6-gate 2-base Blink all-in from Australia. So we got a 2-base all-in versus a 2-base all-in. And this is what I love about these two players. Both of them are very chaotic. Both of them are animals in their own way. So the all-in versus the all-in. Who comes out on top? As Australia, he's missing the army. Oh, he's missing the army. He's rotating over towards the north, knocking down these rocks. And he's going to be spending a lot of time here on these rocks. Meanwhile, Mio Micah pushing towards the south. Heading out here towards that center, and it looks like we catch the Stalkers. Thankfully, Blink is done. Blink is done. Australia, he does get away. Forced to recall back home. But the wall has been broken. There's no shield battery. There's no shield battery. No overcharge again. We were going for an all-in. We didn't think we needed it. And Link's getting so much damage on the miles. They depower the gateways. Only 4 gateways left here for Australia. But that may still be enough. Yeah, he has so many Stalkers. Very good Blink Micro out of Estrella. Avoids the Lings, avoids the surround. And Estrella, he does have a more efficient army. The Wiles, oh, they do connect. But you can see here, we're running out of Road Ravager. We're running out of Road Ravager. We dive on top of them. We focus them down. Lings are being forced back. And now Estrella, he can go for his own counter all in. And Miyamika, he's in a lot of trouble right now. He's down in workers, down in economy. Bleeding out overlords. Lings, they try to engage, but again, this choke point, specifically this ramp, is brutal. And Lings, they cannot engage, not on this ramp. We catch even more overlords. We supply block Miyamika. We are going to get heavily supply blocked here as they're pushing in, and once again, we can just make use of these ramps. We see Miyamika try to engage. We just blink on back to the safety of this choke point. And Miyamika cannot engage. He has to wait for the army to move out, but Miyamika's supply block, he can't make anything. He can't produce. There we go. Now breaking free. Still not even. As Estrella, he's pushing on ever closer. Taking a third base behind this. I don't think Estrella needs it, but again, he's respecting Miyamika's position quite well. Is respecting that position. So do you see Miyamika once again attempting to engage? He has a couple of Ravagers, and what I will say is that with the Roach Ravager, it's also going to be difficult for Estrella to push in. So Estrella, he just backs off, he retreats, takes his third base, and behind this, just re-establishing himself, repowering all these gateways, and I imagine working towards Immortal production, or Robot production as well. Meanwhile, Miyamika hasn't been droning. Miyamika has not been droning. He's still just producing nothing but Ling Roach Ravager. He's hoping that maybe Estrella, maybe he's a little bit too greedy. Maybe he does overcommit to a third base and tech. I mean, we have a Robotics Bay on the way for Colossus production. We're investing a lot of money into tech. Can Miyamika catch Estrella with his pants down once again? Miyamika does have the supply lead. Rocks are getting knocked down. Oh, Lings, they try to dive in. Once again, this position is so brutal. You can see how difficult, whether it's aggressively or defensively, how difficult it is to push up these ramps. But here we go. We do open up a second attack path, and we come in first around. Miyamika breaks through. Gets a full surround here on these Stalkers, but we blink away. We have so many shield batteries. Far too many. Shield battery is going to be filed down, but we're running out of Lings. We're running out of Lings. Does Miyamika barely have enough? 2 more shield batteries here on the high ground. There were like 5 shield batteries set up. Estrella taking Miyamika very seriously. Avoids the Biles, cleans up the Lings, and now the Ravagers are exposed. Again, very nice control here from Estrella. Very efficient trades. Yeah, we're running out of Lings. As we run out of Lings, we're running out of steam. And Miyamika, he has not broken through. He lost 132 Lings. Oh my god. We traded 140 Lings for 19 Stalkers. GG gets called, and Estrella holds. Estrella ties up the series 1-1. GG. Whew. We are going to the ace match. We are going all the way to game number 3. Again, Miyamika just perpetually all in. And even though, again, we could see like the counterbalance of that map, right? Where the rush distance by ground is disgustingly short, right? From what we perceived at least, and from what our players perceived as well. That's why both players went for all-ins. But even though the rush distance by ground is short, you could see how impactful those choke points were. Those ramps outside the natural bases, we saw how efficient Estrella was, trading so goddamn well, killing, I want to say, over 200 Lings in that game. Just purely because they could not surround, they could not engage. By the time that Miyamika finally did, I mean, again, Estrella, he had 5 shield batteries behind him. Like, he was so well set up for the counter all-in, for the follow-up all-in from Miyamika. And with that, Estrella was able to shut him down and tie up the series. And now we're getting into game 3. What will our third map be, though? That is the question. Where are we going? Where are we dropping? Dynasty. Okay, so once again, to reiterate, I was able to have a look at all the names of the maps, so I never and glossed over like their thumbnails, but I never really delved into them myself, so I'm happy to engross myself. I see in the chat, do they remove the healing shrine? This is the map that has a healing shrine in the center. Unless I'm mistaken, I believe there wasn't a healing shrine in this version of the map, but the new map pool isn't live, so it's possible that that version of the map just didn't have the healing shrine. It's possible that it's going to be updated. Here we go, as we're getting into game number 3. And spawning in, oh, hold on, I gotta, I gotta figure, un momento, papi, un momento. I have to fix up our player names. Bam, there we go. Spawning in the top right-hand corner of Dynasty, we have our American Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing himself. Currently, teamless, but tying up the series 1-1, forcing the ace match. Can he go all the way? It is Estrella. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the last king of the sea, the Vietnamese Zerg player, representing Team Gosu. It is Mio Micah. Here we go. As, oh my god, our naturals are gold base? No shot. Okay, so we have a pocket gold base as the natural. Now, to be fair, there are only 6 mineral patches here. I believe 6, right? Yeah, I believe 6 mineral patches here and only 1 gas geyser. So this will be mined out fairly quickly, but early on, this is going to give a pretty significant boost here, especially mineral-wise, to our players. So we have a pocket base. Now, obviously, this can be abused from the other side. We also have a rich Vesperian gas geyser here. Interesting, on the other side of the wall. So you can try to expand here later on, I guess, if you want to save this base. But this is very reminiscent of, was it Redshift? A couple of years ago, Redshift also had a pocket gold, which could also be abused by the other side and be harassed early on. So that's the downside here. All it takes, go for an adept opener, have like 2 adepts on this side of the minerals, and you can just deny mining here and force a big commitment, as Estrella is going for a 2-gate opener. Okay, so it was Nexus first into, so gate expand into a second gateway here, so a very aggressive style here out of Estrella. Basically, with Estrella prioritizing that second gateway, he's going to go for 2 adepts, he can go for 4, and then 6 thereafter. We're going to see quite a bit of adept aggression early on from Estrella, into, I imagine, oracles. Now, very quickly, there's much more to indulge in. Let's scrolling down a little bit here towards, we do have a pretty standard natural base here, or I guess now a 3rd base location that can be taken. Likewise, we do have our triangular 3rd as well. That's a little bit more exposed and wide open here. There's a ramp right outside it, which can be abused. There's a bit of a choke point here towards the center, but in general, a much more exposed base. We can expand towards the north as well. As I'm just trying to keep my eye on our players and what kind of opener we're going for. We are rushing into a very fast lair. Okay, giga fast lair here from Mio Micah. Now, if this was any other player, I would assume Link Queen Nidus all in. It makes sense, right? Like, hey, if you have gold minerals, Link Queen Nidus all in would make a lot of sense here. And if I was casting Dark, I would double down. Because we're casting Mio Micah, we'll see if he takes more gases. We'll keep an eye on him before the lair finishes if he takes a 2nd and 3rd gas. If he does, this could be for Hydras. He's quite fond of Hydras. With his Overlord, though, we can throw down a Nidus on outside the base. His Lings are moving out on the right-hand side. It's going to be Overlord speed. Dropper Lords, not Nidus. Okay, so we're going to be setting up with some Drop Lords instead. Regardless, Mio Micah, he's done droning. He's done droning. We're going for a big all-in here with Lings, Queens, and not a Nidus, but Dropper Lords instead. You can see here the Dropper Lord is getting ready here to morph in, and there it is. It's on the way. Dropper Lords are on the way. Estrella taking a 3rd base. I was going to say, oh my god, interesting. I was going to say that we haven't really been able to explore too much of the map here. The center of the map is very interesting just because it's a very narrow choke point here with rocks that can be knocked down to make this area a little bit more wide open. But this area in the middle is very brutal here to try to push through when it comes to main armies. Lings are getting set up, Job Lords are here. Meanwhile, the Sentry, the hallucination does count. We do confirm. Yeah, Lings, they drop into that natural base. At the same time, we're pushing on the right-hand side as well. Estrella trying to defend. Cancels the third. Third base is canceled. We deny mining here at the natural. Pylon is going to be going down, and the Jump Lord harass continues as two more get in. Yeah, they get into the other side of the wall. Estrella getting pulled apart, dragged over towards that gold. The overcharge is 12. Can we focus on the shield battery? Up. We barely can't. We barely can. The shield battery will not go down. We hold the line. The sentries, they refuse to die. And Estrella's holding, but at the same time, Lings, they come back into that natural. They keep Estrella on a one-base economy. And Miyamike is droning. He's droning up back at home. He is saturating his bases. Ooh. As Mio does a pullback. See the chat. Miyamike must be really clean. he is the king of being washed. Kappa, puppy, kappa. So with that, Estrella, he defends. He doesn't die, which is important. But what Miyamike is doing is denying the third. Over and over again, he denies the third base. Forces another cancel here. Containing Estrella to two bases. Denying mining at the gold. And Miyamike is taking his own fourth. He's expanding, taking a fourth base. Trying to get ahead economically. I say trying because we're on an even drone count, but we're getting there. We are getting there. Also, with the 2-gate opener from Estrella, I assumed it was going to be for Glaive so no, we're working towards Blink and DTs. Okay, Dark Templar on the horizon instead. Dark Templar on the way. Hallucination Scout confirms the third base saturation. Ooh, did we see the Spire? Spire has not been scouted. Okay, Miyamike are trying to go for the mutas. At the same time, he gets a full surround. Blink isn't done. Finishing up in one more second. Sentries go down. Stalkers as well. Big catch here from Miyamike. Going Mass Ling. Oh, a brutal position, though, as Miyamike is going to be forced back. Drop Lords are being hunted down towards the left. Big pickoffs. Not quite supply blocking Miyamike, but they do catch him out. Blackwire's going to try and catch out these Stalkers, but we can always blink over to the other side. Blink over towards the other side. Whew. And with that, we're going to be calming things down. Estrella, he's just establishing himself here on these three bases. Again, working towards the Dark Shrine, working towards even Colossus production. Okay. Pretty powerful setup here on three bases. Miyamike actually droning, and here we go. The mutas are on the way. Remember, the Spire has yet to be scouted. We're not quite ready here for the mutas. As Lings, they dive on top of the base. They deny the shield batteries. A really good positioning here with the Stalkers. We deny any kind of surface area on them. Estrella, he holds on to his third. Meanwhile, do we have any cannons? We do have cannons here at the gold. No cannons in the main base. The main looking a little bit more exposed. Mutas, they can wreak havoc here. At least in the main. Prisms moving out for a counterattack. Colossi are amassing. And how many mutas? 12. 12 mutas for Miyamike. Behind this, working towards Roaches. So mutas are only to harass, at least initially. It's going into Roach Ravager behind it. The mutas are revealed. Lings, they find no damage here at the third. And here come the DTs. Dark Templar, they are waddling in. Mutas, they don't quite find any damage. And we're going to get some DT harass here in the bases. We're going to slip into yet the natural. No detection. Drones are going to get picked off, at least a handful of them. DT and the natural and the third. Prism is going to be hunted down. But we're getting quite a bit done. Yeah, getting 7 drone kills. Getting up to 9. 11, almost 12 worker kills here at the fourth base. 13 in the end. Very nice damage from Estrella. He forced back the army, and Estrella, he's stabilizing. He's stabilizing here on 3 bases. But you can see here that, again, he stumbled his way up to this point. Estrella, his economy is still not what it needs to be. He needs a 4th, but can he ever take it? Oh, the DTRS continues. No Spore! There's no Spore Crawler. More drones going down, and Miyamike are forced to turn back around once again. Despite the supply lead that Miyamike has, he can't make use of it. He's been stuck at home for the past couple of minutes has been stuck defending. And Estrella, he's double expanding. You can see him desperately trying to take a 4th base, but I don't think he can. It's going to be difficult. We'll see. As Miyamika, does he dive on the army or does he dive on a base? He does get eyes on the 4th. Okay, we have roaches on one side, a Ling Muta on the other. And we do cancel a 4th. But again, Estrella double expanded. Despite that, though, we dive on top of the Colossus. And the Colossus, it's gonna go down. Colossus falls. We dive on the army. Overcharges pop. Just gonna keep the other Colossus alive. But Miyamika, he may just have too much. Ooh, as it's being forced back. Now, what's important here, Miyamika, he doesn't know. Doesn't know that Estrella double expanded, and he is getting a 4th up and running. It's gonna finish. Cannons, shield batteries on the way. This is Estrella's lifeline. It is his lifeline here in this tournament. It's keeping him alive in this game. Giving him a chance. More DT harass. Forcing Miyamika to send everything back home. Now looking at the main army, Estrella, he still only has 1 Colossus. Only 1 Colossus. Blink Stalkers. In a head-on fight, I have to give it to Miyamika here. He's maxed out. But the map has been working against him a little bit. Like, this is such a narrow choke point. He's going to try and force his way in. Estrella now into Colossi. We can see Miyamika trying to rotate around. He's going to see. He sees the workers. He sees the transferring workers. He does get eyes on the 4th. Miyamika now aware. He's pushing in. And he commits with everything he has. Colossus goes down. Yeah, and this base will fall as well. There's just not enough here, but here comes the 2nd army. Yeah, from behind. And with Blink Stalkers, it looks like Estrella, he might be able to clean this up. It looks like he will. Estrella, he will clean this up. He gets a full surround, shuts down every single roach here. And the Muta's a big loss for Miyamika. Yeah, he loses everything. Miyamika, despite his base count, look at his drones. He's down to 62 workers. He's having a hard time remaxing. He's having a hard time rebuilding his army. That was a very efficient fight for Estrella. Looking at the resources lost. Oh my god. That was 42 roaches, 10 mutas for a Colossus and a handful of Stalkers. I mean, 16 Stalkers is substantial, but a very good fight for Estrella with the surround. Miyamika, it's his turn to double expand. And Estrella, what's important? He holds on to the 4th. He saves the 4th base. But Miyamika is remaxing. DT, there's still no Spore. There's still no Spore here. DT slips into the main base. We focus on a couple more drones. But Miyamika has remaxing. Can he just brute force his way in? Not quite. He's trying. He is trying to. Now, what's scary here is that Miyamika is stuck on a subpar army. He's stuck on Lair Tech. He's stuck on a Lair Tech army. Ling Roach. No Lurkers, no Brood Lords, no Ultras, no higher form of tech, no higher form of upgrades. It means that if Estrella can weather the storm, he can outscale Miyamika. That's easier said than done. Once again, we dive on top of the Colossus. Overcharge will keep it alive. Good reaction out of Estrella. Does force Miyamika back. Once again, a good concave as well. Slow loss, they tank a couple of shots. Stalkers are going down here towards the north. And it looks like Miyamika, he's finally getting damage done. Breaks through the cannons, getting on top of the Stalkers, but from behind. Once again, Estrella with a better engage. And with the higher quality army, Estrella, he does hold. Again, Estrella, he's on +3 attack. And +2 just finished for Miyamika. Oh, but Estrella, a little bit too cavalier. He does come out onto the map. And this is the reality. The reality is that Estrella, he's stuck at home. Like, he cannot fight out in the open. That is going to be ideal for Miyamika. Estrella cannot expand. He cannot take a 5th. He's just stuck at home. Another DT harass is shutting down the gold base once again. Estrella taking bottom right. I do like this base a little bit more. Here we go. We're diving on the army overcharge force once again. The Colossus goes down. The Colossus finally falls. Nova goes off. Good connection. Very good connection there by Estrella. We dive on the army. Shield battery goes down. And Miyamaika, can he finally break through? He's been trying for so long. Lings are bleeding out. Stalkers. Blinks are available once again. And Estrella holds. He's going to clean this up. He's going to defend. For what, a fourth time? Like, how many times has Miyamaika maxed out and collapsed on this base, and Estrella, he just refuses to give up, refuses to die, and he gets away with a fifth. Once again, this is what's terrifying. Fifth base has been taken. And Miyamaika cannot let this happen. He cannot allow this base to get up and running. DT killed an Evo Chamber. Going for another. Again, still only Lair Tech for Miyamaika. Very stubborn play for Mio. Refusing to go up into Hive. Imagine Miyamaika with Vipers, right? It's like you can yoink every Colossus, you can yoink every Disruptor, you can Blinding Cloud the Stalkers, even if we didn't tech up into Lurkers or Broodlords. Like, even just the addition of a Viper could do so much, but that requires a Hive, and that's something that Miyamaika doesn't invest in. He's going for a Hydrogen, that will help. Hydrogen on the way. Miyamaika now down in drones. And you can see here that the brute force style of Miyamaika, it's not working. It's not paying off. It's falling on its face. And Miyamaika is being outscaled. You can see here with the arrival of Archons and Disruptors, once again DT harassing towards the south. The base is gonna fall. We won't be able to deny the upgrade. We can threaten it at least. Miyamaika rotating over towards the south. Oh, do we have a recall? Estrella a bit out of position. We have cannons. We have side defense. Miyamaika rotates around instead. Trying to collapse on the army. Nova goes off. Ooh. Disruptor gets sniped. Clutch move there from Mio, not gonna lie. Clutch move by Miyamaika. Roach is going to be pushing on forward as well. Overcharge is forced. And with the overcharge, we can hold the Nova. Big connection. Massive connection there from Estrella. GG gets called. Estrella, he weathers the storm. He defends for so long. And he will take the series 2-1. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations here to Estrella for taking the series 2-1. Miyamaika had a lot of advantages. He had a lot of advantages in that game. Estrella was stuck initially on 2 bases, then on 3 bases. But remember, he was able to sneak out a 4th. He snuck out a 5th. He was able to maintain his own economy and actually exceed the economy of Miyamaika. Something that I tried to emphasize is that Miyamaika, he didn't just stay on Hive Tech, he stayed on 66 drones. And he never droned thereafter. I think he went down to 60 workers towards the end, just never had an economy, never could sustain himself, and because that Miyamaika was all in. Even though Miyamaika had so many bases, he was all in. And the longer the game went, the worse it became for Mio. With that, congratulations to Estrella as he advances on. Congratulations, and we need to take a moment here to have a look at the bracket and figure out where we're going. Where we headed, Pappy, where we head. Okay. Let me just slip into some DMs and make sure the players are aware. Okay. Now, if you're interested, exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the back here yourselves. Huh. Let us quickly switch on over. There we go. Bam. From the top, we do have Dark. Dark taking down Arrow 2-0. I'm not familiar with Arrow. Not familiar with him, but regardless, Nicely done there by Dark. He advances on to the quarterfinals to face off against Hero as Hero 2-0'd Bunny as well. Big wins there for Hero and for Dark as they face off against each other in the quarterfinals. I'm a little bit jealous. I would love to cast the two of them do get out, but our own series was a little bit longer. We were held up, and Dark versus Hero has already begun. It is already ongoing. It is already underway. So best of luck to the two of them. Instead, we're focusing here, just underneath them. Estrella takes out Miyamaka 2-1, and Estrella is going up against Bjorn in the quarterfinals in a PVT. So that is going to be our next series here on the bracket. That is going to be our next series on the channel. Estrella versus Bjorn. It does not get easier, it just gets harder from here on forward. Oh boy. Let's go. And that is the upper half of the bracket. Scrolling down towards the lower half, we have Solar versus Rebellion in a ZVP. Rebellion is, of course, a Korean Protoss player. Winner goes up against either Jeshi or Classic. PvP going on there. Jeshi has been looking pretty terrifying in PvP, so I would not be surprised if that goes to the ace match, but Classic is going to be the favored player. So best of luck to Jeshi. Likewise, best of luck to Rebellion, as Solar and Classic will most likely face off in the quarterfinals. Scrolling down a little bit further, we have Oliveira. Oliveira, he 2-0 Cyan. He's waiting for either Data or or Gumiho. Most likely going to be Gumiho versus Oliveira. Terran player is going to be confirmed for the semifinals, but who will meet them? Who will join either Oliveira or Gumiho? We'll find out. Again, I hope that some of these matches are being casted. Hope that some of those matches are being covered, as we are going to be focusing on the upper half of the bracket instead. Focusing on the upper half, as from here we're just going to be waiting for our players to ignite their vetoes. Up next is Bjorn versus Estrella. I'm catching up in the chat. Catching up. Let's go. Oh, I saw some clowns in the chat, Papi. Clowns. It's okay. We can ban them. It's fine. It's fine. Some people asking, are we playing on the new patch? So just for a bit of clarity here is that Estrella and Miyamaka, they specifically agreed to play on the new maps. I don't think that any of the other players, I don't think that any of these other matches are going to be on the new maps. Just Estrella and Miyamaka both agreed to it, which is why we played on the new maps in the first series. Unless Bjorn agrees, we're probably just going to play on the regular map pool, which is is most likely what's going to be happening here. You know, Estrella and Miyamaka, they just want to have some fun. Wanted to have some fun. It's all good. So chat, yo, Light, we still hanging out in Poland? Yes. I'm only in Poland for another week. I'm gonna be here in Poland for not too long. Not too long. Before we go back to Australia, papi. We'll be back. I threw a team fight in Dota last night to ban the spammer. Smooch. Smooch, papi. But yeah, vetoes are underway. Vetoes are currently underway, and we will be able to dive back into this and follow Estrella on his run. If you wanted to watch Hero vs. Dark, that is currently ongoing on the Korean stream. I believe Inu is casting in Korean. When it comes to other casters, unfortunately, I'm not too familiar with any. I don't think Steadfast is here today. I don't think Wardy. I think Wardy is still traveling. I know he went to the States recently for something Stormgate related, I think. I don't know. But he was traveling, he was abroad. So I don't know if he's back home or maybe he's jet lagged. as a result, we don't have as much English coverage as we usually do, which is a bit of a shame. But hopefully that changes for tonight's European Cup and tonight's America's Cup. Hopefully that's the case. I mean, we're always going to be there. We're going to be there for tonight's European Open. Not quite the America's Open, unfortunately, but we'll be there for Europe. We will be there for Europa. All good. As here we go, vetoes are done, lobby has been made, and we're diving into our next series. We're diving into our PVT. Let's go. And with the mod call, the mods answered. Let's go. Did the mic cut off? Oh, hello. I'm still good. I hope. I do a team fight and okay. One more week, and here we go. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Heartland, we have our South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran representing Shopify Rebellion, one of the favorites for this entire tournament. We'll see if he can keep on going. We'll see if he meets his end here in the earlier rounds. It is Byun. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the American Hope. We have the American Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing himself, currently teamless, looking deserving to be on the team. It is Estrella. We go. As Byun is popping up. Let's go. Going for a proxy Rax here right outside the main base of Estrella. Ay. It is here. The Rax is upon us. Now, this should only be a singular proxy Rax. I imagine this is going to be a proxy Rax into a bunker in the mineral line with a setup back at home and a transition back at home. This is not going to be an all-in out of Byun, but a very aggressive playstyle here. Very aggressive build, an aggressive opener. Estrella, meanwhile, going for his own probe scout across the map. But Rax is about to finish, and the bunker will soon be on the way. Might be related to the third Stormgate faction reveal. Might be. There we go. Reapers in production. Now again, the goal of this SCV is to try to bypass the vision here of Estrella and get the bunker going either behind the mineral line or in the mineral line. And there it is. Oh, the bunker has been thrown down. Now you have this little alcove here that you can make use of where you can deny any kind of service area and make sure that the probe does not get any damage done on the SCV. Yeah, as we do just rotate over. And there it is. In this position, it just cannot be attacked. It just cannot be hit by the probe. It is left untouched, and the bunker will finish. Reaper comes in, headed for the main base. Zealot is being, or was chronoed out, actually. But alas, again, the Zealot will not deal with that probe. Will not deny the bunker. One probe goes down. Get one worker so far. We get a second probe as well. Big pickoffs in the main base, but the Reaper is a little bit too low, and we do force the salvage. We get the hell out of there. Byun does retreat. And Estrella holds. Did lose 2 workers, though. That was a pretty good amount of damage dealt by Byun. But Estrella, at least, he denies the bunker. He holds on. He can mine from his natural. And Byun is transitioning back at home. CC on the high ground. We have the factory on the way. Starport as well. We're getting into our 1-1-1. Everything is looking solid here from Byun. Is looking solid here as the follow-up. Meanwhile, we're still yet to determine our take-up choice for Estrella. We're getting into our second gateway. Soon, either our Stargate or Twilight Council. Oh, my apologies. In 2 minutes. My apologies here, as it looks like I did accidentally leave me a mic on the player name. Thank you for letting me know. Has been fixed. Has been fixed here. As back at home, we're getting into our 2-1-1 setup. Again, we're making Cyclones early on just for some drop harass, but I imagine we're going to be stopping at 2 Cyclones. Yeah, there we go. Only 2 Cyclones as we move out across the map. Estrella going for a Robo Opener. Very interesting. Okay. Fast Robo, we do have the Twilight Council behind it, though. So we'll see how Estrella does piece this all together, and if he can defend. 3 Stalkers here at the natural. Cyclone drop into the main. Stalker's out of position. No shield battery either. And probes are getting picked off. You can see how easily these Cyclones can get so much damage on 3 probes fall. We get the Zealot as well. And we drop into the natural. Now, thankfully, Estrella, he's in position. He does go for another Warping of Stalkers. Meanwhile, Beyond, he's scouted the Twilight Council. He sees the blink. He's fully aware. Fully aware of the blink. As he does manage to bob and weave and get the hell out of the main. Saving both Cyclones. And back at home, he should be preparing. There it is, tank production. So, the thing here is that Beyond doesn't know how many gateways are going to be thrown down. Doesn't know how aggressive Estrella is going to be. So we need a couple of safety tanks just to make sure we survive a 4-gate blink attack. Beyond poking in, and he does confirm that Estrella, he's looking to expand. Kills a probe. Dives into the natural, gets 5 more workers. Oh my god! We're getting far too much done, and finally we get a kill on that medevac. Good pick off there by Estrella, but the damage was done. That's going to be 11 probe kills in total. Ay, ay, ay. 11 worker kills. And with that, Beyond's in a pretty nice position, and I assumed he was going to be defending here with this army. Okay, we are just establishing ourselves. We have our 3 tank setup. Now, basically, as soon as Beyond realized, hold up, you're taking a third, you're not staying on 2 bases. That means it's not 4-gate blink. We're now going for a gateway explosion. But Beyond, he can move out and deny the third. That's the goal of this push. He does move out. Now, the observer placement is on point for Estrella. He does spot the move out. And his goal here is to meet the army and to slow it down. To pick away those Marines. To maybe force a siege. We do get 1 Marine so far. Not bad. Ooh, 1 Marine for 1 Stalker, though. And not the best trade for Estrella. But again, he slows down the push. Slows it down long enough to get another warp in. Shield battery's almost done. Tanks are sieging. And again, Beyond making his way towards that 3rd base. Reinforcing here with another tank. Estrella in a lot of trouble. Duckling on 4 does take down one of those tanks. We have another. We have a 2nd tank. Good focus firing there out of Beyond. The Stalker's getting very low. Overcharge is pop, barely keeping that pylon alive. We just go for the Stalkers instead. We depower the shield battery. This 3rd base, it's going to be going down. I say that. We do have some reinforcements coming in. Can we hold? No charge. There's no charge on those Zealots. We're a couple of seconds off. We dive on top of the army. A couple of Marines going to be going down, and it looks like we will save the base. Whew, just barely. Estrella, he saves the 3rd. Forces back Beyond. Again, that was a very close defense. Imagine if Estrella didn't spot the move out. Imagine if he didn't slow down the army here. Even though we lost a Stalker, he did slow down the siege by a good, like, 10 seconds. And that would have been an extra 1-2 volleys off. That could have spelled the end for this base. So Estrella, he holds, he has blink, he has charge. Storm just finished. We have some high Templars, so now we have some splash damage to work with as well. And Beyond back at home is going to be stuck here for a little bit as he expands and takes his own 3rd. We're working towards the mid game. Now, Estrella's being a little bit greedy here. After the initial defense, what are we going for? A Forge and a Robotic Spade. Towards upgrades and towards Colossus production, we're taking up quite a bit. And so far, Estrella's getting away with it. He's even taking a 4th base as well. Bearing in mind that Estrella's army is quite vulnerable right now. He's spending so much here on tech, on production, on his economy. We'll see if he can get away with it. Estrella going for a drop into the main. Observer is spotted. Beyond moves out. Show us the storm. Oh, are we paying attention? We are. Storm does connect with Marauders. They sim on 4. They take down a High Templar. They get one. They're not going to just get one. They're going to get a second as well. Big storms here on the army. We focus down the second High Templar and we get the Archon as well. A very good trade for Bjorn. Bjorn, yes, he did eat some storms to the face, but he kills 4 High Templar. Ay, and just like that, Estrella, he's caught with his pants down. We spoke about it. He still doesn't have Colossus. He only has 1 High Templar left. No Storm. Not enough NG. And with that, Bjorn, he may just have too much. Yeah, it was in this moment. We do have 1 more Storm coming in. We got the High Templar. Another Storm is almost available. Estrella needs a little bit more time, and there it is. We get 1 more Storm. Shield Battery goes down. We're trickling with a couple of Stalkers, but it's not going to be enough. And Bjorn snowballing out of control. Estrella a little bit too greedy. Getting his 4th base, his upgrades, his tech, everything at the same time. And he is caught out. The Prism falls. The Viking. It's going ham on the Colossus. 3rd base has fallen, and Bjorn, he can keep on pushing from here. He kills 15 workers. And do we want the 4th or do we want the natural? We're going for the 4th. We're getting eyes on it at least. Yeah, we get the shield battery. And again, Estrella, he's just on his last legs here. He gets focused down. The Marauders, they do so much damage on these Stalkers and on the Colossi. Finally, the army is forced back. Oh, the mine shot. Good split there out of Estrella. Bjorn's going to be pulling back. And he's already done the damage he was looking for. He killed the base, a mineral line. He reset the Colossus count. He reset the High Templar count. Looking at the units tab, 0 High Templar remaining. 1 Colossus is out here for Estrella. Estrella, he just needed a little bit more time to really establish himself. As Bjorn is pushing on forward. Shield battery has not yet been remade. It's not yet remade, and we're going to be able to hold on for now. 4th base getting up and running here for Bjorn. Planetary's on the way. Again, Bjorn, he's ahead in economy. He's ahead in army. He just needs to consolidate his army, and then he can just keep on pushing. He won't be stopped. And here come the rest of his forces. Rallying across the map there on the mineral line. Oh no, the mine! Oh, brutal connection to the Colossus. And Estrella, he can either keep pushing towards the 4th base, or he can just rotate around. He has a lot of flexibility here with where he wants to move. Yeah, big EMPs here on those Stalkers. Just on the army. Themselves, they melt here before the Bioforce, and Bjorn, he's snowballing out of control. We're breaking through the Stalkers. We're getting on top of the Colossi. With that, only 1 Colossus does remain. We got a handful of Zealots here. Estrella barely struggling to hold on. It looks like he barely will. Forces Bjorn back. Now, I do know that Estrella did take down Miyamika off of this. GG gets called. Estrella taps out. The writing was on the wall, and Bjorn will take game number 1. GG. I was going to say that it is true that Estrella did win off of the back of just pure defense against Miyamika, but that was Miyamika being all in, right? Miyamika, he was on a low drone count, on a low quality army. So Estrella could afford to just weather the storm and focus on defending, but that wasn't quite applicable here against Bjorn. And again, it was just a really brutal timing. We spoke about it, how there was a period where Estrella was specifically very vulnerable, right? Where he was getting his 4th, he was working towards the Bay, towards Forge, towards upgrades. He had a very small army. He was skipping warp-ins. Essentially, he had sacrificed the size of his army for just taking up even further in every other direction. And that just happened to be when Bjorn moved out. Happened to be when he pushed, he caught the High Templar. With the death of the High Templar, without any more storms, I mean, that was going to be game. So really good killer instinct there by Bjorn. And with that, Bjorn takes the lead in the series. He takes game number 1, but now we're getting into game number 2. Let's go. Let us go. As we're getting into game number 2 and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Oceanborn, we have our South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran representing Shopify Rebellion, leading the series 1-0. It is Bjorn. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Red Protoss representing himself, currently teamless, looking and deserving to be on a team, the American Hope. It is Estrella. And again, it was kind of a rough start for Estrella. If you remember, Bjorn started off with a proxy Rax into killing some workers, into a Cyclone drop harass. After the early game, he had killed 11 workers. 11 probes had fallen to the aggression of Bjorn. It was insane how much damage he dealt early on. And Estrella was just struggling to recover from there. He did manage to get into Storm, but as we saw, was cutting too many corners in the aftermath of that Storm. As Bjorn moves out across the map for an eBay block. Going for the block here at the natural. Now, if you've been familiar with the meta as of late, oh, we are not checking. I was gonna say Protoss players have been getting really good at checking their natural for this, but this is a late scout from Estrella. Big progression on this eBay. Oh, is he gonna take the unnatural? Natural. Brutal position for Estrella. Yeah, he just scouts a little bit too late. Scouts a little bit too late. A base is being taken. And Bjorn behind this can go into Cyclones. Now, I'll be honest, this is a dynamic that we haven't seen in quite a number of months. The reason for this, players like Classic, Hero, MaxPack, Showtime, they've all gotten really good at scouting ahead of time, checking the natural, and pulling boys and denying the eBay. Because this is a really difficult position to defend. We should be going for an add-on swap. The reactor on the factory to chrono out, to reactor out Cyclones, and we can be very aggressive in the follow-up in the aftermath. So I worry for Estrella. I worry if he's going to be able to defend this base. It's going to be a difficult hold here for the Protoss. Assuming we're going for Cyclones. Yeah, there's the add-on swap. There is the add-on swap. So we are settling into this. Oh, bit of a delayed add-on swap there by Bjorn, but there we go. We are reactivating out those Cyclones, and the goal here is to pull Estrella apart. Is to force him to decide and pick and choose like where he does defend, where he does position his units. We can threaten the main or we can threaten the natural. Both going to be quite exposed. And thankfully Estrella is not going for a Stargate. A Stargate opener would be ideal for Bjorn. As Cyclones, they can have their way with Oracles and Phoenixes. So we're going for Blink. Bit of a gateway explosion. 3-gate Blink here from Estrella. Very safe play from our Protoss. As the Cyclones are moving out. See in chat, can you put skins on their units? I cannot. Do not have the power to do so. Cyclones are moving out. They're going to be applying some pressure here again. There's a shield battery. There should be an overcharge in a couple of seconds. But now Estrella, he is holding another wave of Cyclones on the way. You can see Bjorn just keeping the pressure on. Keeping the pressure up. Behind this, we have a bunker on the way, getting into our 1-1-1 setup. Gonna have 4 Cyclones in total, and a handful of Marines. And we're trying to catch out a Stalker, trying to catch out some units if at all possible. Speaking of, we got a Stalker. In a matter of seconds, 1 Stalker goes down. It's a very delicate dance here for Estrella. Again, he cannot overextend. We pick up a pylon. We get a worker and we go straight for the main base. A good force field. A very nice force field. Does cut off 2 of those Cyclones. We trade 2 for 2. Not the best trade from Australia. Now we get into the main base. We force a recall. Oh, we get another Stalker. And we will finally clean this up. Again, this was 4 Cyclones for 5 probes and 3 Stalkers and a Pylon as well. Not a bad trade here for Beyond. Especially considering with this style from Australia, you need to build up that Stalker count over time. And Beyond is keeping the pressure on, going for some Banshees. He's going for Cloak Banshees behind this. Already working on that tech lab on that factory, building up a very quick tank count. So tanks are going to be crucial to defend against Blink Stalkers. Banshees are going to be harassing across the map. Beyond is fortifying himself. And Australia, he's only got 3 gateways, so it's only 3 gate Blink. We're taking a 3rd. We're expanding. We're working towards the mid game. Australia has at least survived, and he maintains his worker count. Like he's not out of this by any means. He's maintaining his economy, getting up to 3 bases. Banshees are moving out across the map. And Beyond likewise working on a very fast 3rd base. I say that because Australia's 3rd isn't even done, and usually you want the Protoss player up a base compared to the Terran. So very fast 3rd here at Beyond. Stalkers are moving out across the map. At the same time, Banshee moving in. Thankfully, there is a shield battery, which we are going for. At the same time, Australia doesn't quite go into the main base. Ooh. Try to go for the Banshee, but the last cloak is done. We focus down the shield battery. Focus down a couple of Stalkers as well in the middle of the map. But it looks like Australia, he will clean this up, and we were lacking a bit of target firing there out of Beyond, and no economic damage. That's what's important. This investment into Banshees honestly hasn't really been worth it so far. We killed the shield battery, we got a probe, but that's it. We are going to be settling in. But again, yeah, these Banshees, they've been a little bit lackluster here for by Beyond. At least they keep Australia pinned back at home, and Beyond is establishing his 3rd base. Getting it up and running, working towards Stim, +1, combat shields. It's all in production here for an eventual push. You can see Beyond is looking for the Observer. Does miss it, or does miss the Adept, I should say. No Observer in position. Beyond taking up in towards Ghost Academy for Ghost production, Widow Mines as well. We're done with the tanks. Likewise, Australia also chilling back at home as well. Working towards Colossi, at least initially. Now the Adept does spot the move out, so Australia knows. Getting in position. He's on the high ground. Very nice force fields. We shave off a good chunk of Marines. Ooh, oh god! At the same time, we lose our sentries. Big tank volleys on that army. So a bit of a give and take. Where Australia, he kills some Marines, but he does lose his sentries. Beyond rotating around. Now, what is concerning is that Australia doesn't have any active observers. His 1 observer is back at home defending against the Banshee, which means he has nothing to scout the main army. He has a probe on the right-hand side. We're scanning ahead of us here again. Beyond, he's looking for any observers. We see none, but here comes Zealot. Important scout there for Australia. Australia has so little to work with. There we go. Warping of Zealots. Beyond will pull back. Behind this, Beyond working on a 4th, and we have ourselves a game. We have ourselves a bit of a longer game here as both players are getting their 4th bases up and running. We're chilling, we're expanding. Again, Beyond was trying to move out and trying to be assertive, but because he kept getting scouted, Beyond respects Australia. He respected Australia, assumed that Australia would be in position, and Beyond retreats. So really nice scouting, really nice movement out of Australia. As Beyond is pushing on the right-hand side. Estrella does have a spotted probe, so he does see the rocks being knocked down.
Mineral field depleted.
He is a diva enjoyer. I have to remember that. You have to remember that as a couple of workers are going to be going down. We catch a Stalker. Again, this army isn't really designed to fight the main army of Estrella. We're just marauding. We're marauding around, checking for a 5th base. We can see that Estrella has expanded. Bjorn has not confirmed this yet. Has not confirmed the expansion. 2nd starport on the way. We're getting into Viking production for those Colossi. Meanwhile, Estrella should soon be working towards Disruptors, as we have reached critical mass of Colossi, which is 3. From here, Disruptors or Storm is ideal. Maybe even a transition to Skytos, right? Like a Fleet Beacon, Stargates. That is also viable, as both players are maxing out. When it comes to the quality of the army, I have to give the edge to Bjorn because of his ghosts and soon-to-be Vikings. Again, we are still heavily reliant on the Colossi. Good EMP. Estrella is trying to come in for a bit of a flank. But good kiting here from Bjorn. Takes down the Zealots. Bleeds out a ghost. But Estrella, he cannot chase. Cannot push in. As the Viking count is building up. At the same time, Prism comes in. But no, the turrets, they take down the Prism. That was a full Prism as well. Estrella now throwing down 2 more Robos. Ooh, okay. I feel like these Robos are late. These are late Robos. You can see that Estrella, he's stuck here at 170 supply. Bjorn is maxed. Bjorn, he's the first player to max out. Estrella has a bank, but he can't spend it. He can't spend his bank. Big EMP on the army. We take down 1 Colossi. 1, 2, or 3 Colossi going to be going down. Estrella, he gets caught out. Every single Colossus falls. And what is there left? No Disruptors, no Storm. Only a Gateway army. I mean, the Zealots are doing well. Zealots are doing well for themselves. But this army is just far too efficient from Bjorn. Stimming on forward, getting on top of the Robo. Meanwhile, the surround. Estrella coming in from behind. The Vikings, they have to land. That's a lot of Vikings. And they're forced to land instead. The Zealots, they wreak havoc here. Taking a lot of them down. And Disruptors have arrived. Estrella, he holds his own. He makes it. Basically, the window where he lost his Colossus and he didn't have any Disruptors, that's the window that I was most worried about. But the Colossi, sorry, the Disruptors, they have arrived. And Estrella holds. He does hold. Meanwhile, Bjorn backs off and he's working on the next step. He realizes, I don't need Vikings anymore. What do I need? Liberators. Freedom. Freedom has arrived. Liberators are on the way. Bjorn still has potential here. Still has quite a terrifying army. As he moves out, Zealot run by. Massive Zealot run, but we come across the tanks. Tanks going to be going down. We get into the mineral line as well. Yeah, SCVs are falling. Bjorn racing back home. He's getting caught out. Oh, who catches who? As Estrella has to retreat, but he takes down 13 SCVs. 16 workers fall. Estrella, he is committing. Bjorn forced to come all the way back home. And can Estrella catch anything? Gets a medevac. Picks off medevac. Zealots, they're retreating. And Bjorn, he lost a big chunk of army. That was, sorry, big chunk of workers. 23 SCVs go down. Bjorn now down in the economy. Oh. Big mine shot. Does connect. Estrella trying to find a way in. Trying to find a way in, but Estrella, he will pull back. And again, I feel like Estrella, he's made it through the worst of it. At least for now. Bjorn remaxing. How many Liberators do we have? 3. Okay, only 3 Libs. And they're being used defensively. Plus 2 ship weapons on the way. Advanced Ballistics, which is Liberator range. Also in production with that fusion core. As Estrella, he dives on the army. Ooh. Never going to be going off. Takes down the Widow Mines. Bjorn, a big chunk of his army out of position, by the way. Oh, a bit of friendly fire with that Nova. Less than ideal, but Bjorn, he's coming in from behind. Estrella does react. Nova's going off. Beyond trying to set up almost a 360 surround. And it looks like he breaks through the Zealots. Nova's once again, they graze the army. But we might be bleeding out too much here. No big connections. Astray has to back up, but he does come across a base. He's going for the CC. He's going to have to recall. Uh-oh. We have to get out of here. We go for the recall. 1, 2, 3 disruptors go down. Expensive losses there for Estrella. Now beyond he can counterattack. Estrella, what do we have at home to defend? How many disruptors do we have left? 5. 5 disruptors. Is that enough? Beyond is going to keep pushing. Yeah, it catches a base. Next is going to fall, going for a split push, actually. He's going to get top right. Moving towards bottom left. And Estrella, he's stuck in between the bases. And he's being pulled apart. It's just becoming too much. 2 bases going to be going down in the blink of an eye. Zella Rumbai runs into reinforcements. We're coming in once again. Can we get a 3rd base? No shot. Okay. Regardless, Biani takes down 2 next eye. That's a lot of disruptors. Astray, he can maybe take a main fight, but Zealots, they're trickling out. And Biani's going in once again. Oh! Oh my god, oh my god, the target firing! Nervous go for the disruptors are exposed, they're all alone. Disruptors are going down. We hot pick up, we avoid the Novas. Good control here out of Björn. And again, he's just having his way with this army. There's no anti-air, no Stalkers, no High Templar, no Phoenixes, no nothing. We freely drop wherever we want. Even here, more Zealots. Ay, ay, ay. And Björn, he takes down another base. Estrella just cannot keep up. Not anymore. We collapse on the Stalkers. We get on top of the 4th. Not like this. We can see Estrella trying to harass, and he does sneak out center left. There is a base up and running that Björn doesn't know about. But the drop play is becoming too much. He's getting out of control. We're running into more of these mines. Ooh. Big mine shots here on the army. 32 probes go down. Disruptors are trickling in. Not like this. We get 3 disruptors. GG gets called, and Björn will take the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations here, as Björn will take the series 2-0. Astray, he had his opportunities here in this game, more so than game 1. Game 1 was a lot more dominant by Björn. Here, we had more of a back and forth, right, where the Banshees didn't do too much damage, where Björn tried to be aggressive, but Astray was keeping up for a while. But towards the end, we saw Björn snowball out of control. Again, he was able to just outposition and outmaneuver Estrella, pulling him apart left and right. And Estrella just could not keep up with the mobility of Björn's army. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations here, as Björn will advance on into the next round. My condolences to Estrella. Again, you know, he did his best and he held his own for a time, but eventually he did end up falling and getting pulled apart. Being snowballed out of control, but GG, well played. With that, we're getting ready here. We're getting ready for our next series. And who's up next? That is the question.